So now we're starting on our second video. This is extremely important. This is the tax formula for individuals. And here's how you calculate how much money you owe or how much money you get back. You start with gross income. You minus any deductions for adjusted gross income. So gross income is all the money you make, and we'll talk about that on the next slides. Minus deductions equals my AGI, or adjusted gross income. So AGI has to do with the stimulus checks that we got. It's based upon your AGI. Then you minus greater of your itemized deductions, which is on Schedule A, or your standard deductions. Also minus any qualified business income deductions, and that equals your taxable income. Once you get to that income, you're going to times it times the tax rate, either using my tax tables or a rate schedule. There's two different ways to calculate it. That'll equal my gross income tax liability and additional taxes. So that amount is how much money you owe the government, minus tax credits and prepayments. Prepayments are when money has been withheld from your paycheck for FIT, federal income tax. So that's every payday you're paying a prepayment. So how much you owe minus how much you already paid equals how much you're going to get back as a refund, or how much more money you owe. So this formula is extremely important to remember. You want to commit this to memory, or at least know how to go find it quickly. So let's talk about things on this slide. First, we're going to talk about gross income. It could be income from anything reported on your 1040. It could be wages, interest, dividends, pension, Social Security, and capital gains and losses. Yes, your Social Security is going to be taxed, and that's a whole nother class on that. But this is all examples of gross income. So next, let's look at deductions for AGI. Here are deductions. There's certain trade and business expenses, reimbursed employee business expenses, alimony, this is before 2019, student loan interest. So you can actually deduct that from your income to reduce your AGI. So these are deductions for adjusted gross income, and after you add them up and subtract them from gross, you're going to get the AGI. This is called the magic line. This has because it has a lot of things to do with it, especially our stimulus checks. So next we're going to look at standard deductions. Here are the standard deductions. So this was for 2019. And if you're single, your standard deduction is $12,200. Has to do with your filing status. Here's married, filing separate, head of household, qualifying widower. Okay, if you're over 65, you get some special considerations. You're going to get $1,650 added to your 1220 or 12,200. Sorry, guys. So these are your standard deductions, and remember, you're going to look at them, compare them to your itemized deductions, and then we're going to look at exemptions. Okay, before that, TCJA. Remember, I told you we're going to see about that. There was a deduction that you could take for yourself and your spouse. Those were suspended in 2018, and they're going to start back in 2025. So they were on hiatus for 7 years. So gross tax liability is how much you're actually going to owe the government. Now, keep in mind. So let's just take a little example. Here's a little test here. So Bill's a single taxpayer, age 27. His salary is $29,000. He has interest income of $1,500. In addition, he has deductions for adjusted gross income, and he has $6,500 of itemized deductions. So we want to know what his gross income is. Well, his gross income is going to be his salary plus his interest income. His AGI will be his gross income minus $2,200. Okay, and his standard deductions, he's probably going to take the $12,200 since he only has $6,500, and he's going to owe, and I'll show you on the next slide. Here's his gross income. Here's his AGI. Here's his standard deduction. So he takes his AGI minus his standard deduction, and here's his taxable income. And this is the amount that actually goes to the tax chart to figure out his taxes. So this is the end of video number 2. We'll start back up on video number 3 for chapter 1 shortly.